Good morning, everybody. Hi, how are you doing today on this fabulous and beautiful day? Here we are in Snowdonia, having a fantastic time here in the mountains. The daffodils are out and the snowdrops are blooming, and we've even seen some green leaves on the trees. I mean, it's extraordinary here. It's so fantastic to feel the energy of spring coming up. So I'm so grateful to see all of you joining in. Hi to Joe, hi to everybody that's joining in at the moment. I'm sending you lots of waves physically through the camera here. So I hope that everyone is doing really well. Let me know in the chat how you're doing and whether you've seen the scene of spring over these last couple of days. It's been glorious up here. I don't know if you've seen the photos that Jane's been posting on the Instagram and on the Facebook. It's been absolutely extraordinary to see some of the views and the water, the beauty of the water and the sunshine shining on that water. So just waiting for everyone to hop in on the call and just hoping that everyone is doing so well. So thank you so much for joining us today. We've got a fantastic 10-minute session and today is a really, really, really exciting day for us because tonight Louise is going to be doing a free talk here at our centre here in Snowdonia. So if you haven't yet seen the Together at Home, you'll be able to see that in the bio of the Drew Worldwide Instagram page. So please do go and click on that after the call today and you can join in for free to join us. We've got literally hundreds of people joining us from around the world already booked in. So if you haven't yet got your place, go and register straight after this call today. So I hope that you're doing really, really well. Lots of waves coming in. So happy and smiley. Thank you. So I'm glad that you're doing well. Minus 4.5 degrees last night, Kate. Oh my God. I know Scotland is cold, but yeah, -4 is actually really beautiful down here in Snowdonia. Okay, so let's get started. Today I'd really like you to have a pen and a paper. If not, have your phone there so that you can kind of write a few things down because it's going to be a really practical session for you today, okay? So what I'd like to explore with you is the concept of time. Now, it's really, really exciting, isn't it? Because we're all at home. Probably a lot of us are based at home at the moment, and we've been given a gift of time, and time is something that's very precious, as we know, but quite often we can waste it, can't we? So I remember a few years ago I had a wonderful opportunity here at Drew on a youth course to do something called a vision quest. Now, if you've not heard of a vision quest, it's the most extraordinary experience where you can go into the woodland and you're sitting there on your own and you have the most wonderful experience of just being in nature. Now, I was in my early 20s or late teens at the time, and of course we thought this was a really cool and groovy idea to go off into the woods for 3 days with, you know, fruit and nuts. In theory, you're meant to kind of fast, okay? So there I was with my banana and my couple of dates and a few nuts to last me like 3 days. Yeah. So there I was, and it was the most beautiful experience for the first 3 hours. Okay, I was blissed out. I was watching the water and I was watching the sunlight shining through the leaves. I was having a fantastic time listening to the birds and seeing them hopping around, and I was like, oh, this is great, this is fantastic. Then about 3 hours later, I was getting really hungry. I was like, okay, I'm going to start on the bananas. So I had my lunch and then I was like, well, now what do I do? Can I do the same thing again for like 3 days? and I did. I sat there in my little circle, you know, and that was it. You were in your sacred space. And it was extraordinary because I discovered it's really easy to waste time. And I really didn't have a good enough plan, I think, because I was sitting there and I was like twiddling my thumbs. I was talking to myself. We did have a journal, so I had a look recently at my notes. And I was like, oh, dear God, you know, what was I writing about? And it was just, we can really waste our time. And it's extraordinary because we've been given this gift. I just wanted to say to you, how are you going to live your life over these next 2 to 3 months? We have no idea how long this is going to last. So if you have a chance, over this next little while, I'd like you to have a pen and a paper and have a think about how you would like to be a little bit different at the end of these next 2 to 3 months. How is it that you want to change inside of yourself? So have a think about that. You know, what is it that you want to learn? What is it you want to study? What are the things that you've always said to yourself? If I had enough time, if I'd been given the gift of like 3 days, someone said to you, here, have a week, have 3 days, how would you plan your life? And I think that's one of the most extraordinary things that we can take grasp hold of at the moment, is that we've been given time to do as we wish. So why not use that time really, really well? So have a think for a moment. Is it to redecorate the bathroom? Is it to get the garden sorted? Is it actually more to meditate and really establish a firm practice in yourself? Is it to learn something in a little bit more depth, like yoga energetics? Or is it to learn how to cook? I've recently been staying with a fantastic friend of ours called Mario. Hi, Mario, who's the most extraordinary vegan cook. And I've been astounded at the quality of the food that he's been making for us. And I was like, how is it possible that I can learn now? I've known about veganism for years and years and years, but I've been really touched and inspired. I'm thinking, okay, maybe I could go that way. I just need to go and find it out a little bit more. So write down on your piece of paper or on your phone, what are a couple of things that you want to do with your time? Okay, that should involve lots of scribbling. I should be hearing lots of typing on your phone. And you can even type it in now. What is it that you're looking to change in yourself? How different do you want to be at the end of these 2 to 3 months? Interesting question. Okay. So now you've had a little bit of a think about that. I'd like to tell you a story. And it may be one that you've been familiar with, but this is something that has touched me for years. When I heard this first story, I was like, oh, okay, that's how it works. So what happened was, many years ago, there was a professor, and he had his students in his university class, and they were really not paying attention. They weren't going to get good results in their exams because they were just prioritising the wrong things in their life. They were going out drinking, they were having lots and lots of parties, they weren't focusing on what they were meant to be doing. So he said, right, okay, I'm going to get these guys focused. So one day he turns up at his lecture, and they're all sitting there in their tiered seating, and there he's watching them all, and they're all coming in, they're all chatting, they're all really blasé about things, not really understanding that their exams are coming up. And what he does is he reaches down underneath the desk, and he pulls up this big jar, okay, glass jar, and he bangs it on the top of the desk, and they all go, ooh, what's going on? It's a little bit different from his normal lectures. And he says, okay, everybody, pay attention, please. Would you say that this jar is empty? And they say, yeah, it's an empty jar. And he says, okay, fine. And he reaches down and he starts to pull out rocks about the size of his fist. And he starts putting in the rocks inside this jar, okay? And he starts filling it up with probably 5 rocks. And he says, okay, everybody, would you say that this jar is now full of rocks? And they say, yes. It's a jar full of rocks. This professor's gone a little bit loopy. So he says, okay, fine, keep watching, please. Goes underneath and he pulls out pebbles, okay? And he pours these pebbles in, kind of a couple of centimetres. And would you believe it? He fills up most of the jar with these pebbles. And he says, okay, now would you say the jar's full? And they say, yes, Professor, the jar is now definitely full. It has rocks and it has pebbles. Okay. Then he says, okay, well, just one more thing. And he reaches down and he pulls out sand. And he literally pours in a big jar of sand. And he says, okay, now would you say the jar is full? And they say, yes, it is now really, 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 really full. So he said, okay, this jar represents you. It represents your life. So he says, the big rocks in your life, Those are your partner, your family, your children, your health, the really important core foundations of your life. Then he said the pebbles. Okay, so your pebbles, those are your job, that's your career, your house, your friends, all the things that are important, but they're not like the things that are going to make your life really, really worthwhile. So he said, have a think about that. What is really important in your life? What are the rocks in your life? What are the pebbles in your life? And then someone put their hand up, but sir, so what's the sand? And he said, well, the sand is everything else that we do. All those inconsequential little things that we do every day that are actually totally irrelevant, but they fill up our life. And he said, well, the interesting thing is, if you put in the sand and the pebbles, do you think there's going to be room for your rocks? And they were like, no. No, they're not. There's no space. There's no space in the jar. If you fill up your life with all the things that are inconsequential, like the nice kind of binge watching on Netflix, or, you know, the chocolate bars, or the shopping, or the things that are not going to make your life really valuable, and then you put in all the pebbles on top, you're not going to have time or space for the big, most important rocks that you have in your life. Now, there's one more addition, and he says, okay, so you've got all of that. Do you think the jar is now full? And they say, yeah, of course it's full. There's everything, you know, there's no space left in that jar. And then he pulls out a jug of water. And he pours the water into the jar that's got the rocks, that's got the pebbles, that's got the sand, and then it's full of the water. And would you believe, he says, this is now the most important thing. What is it that you're filling your life with? What is the gel? What is the glue that's holding it all together? So I leave that question with you. What is the water for you in your life? And I hope that you have a wonderful day, really looking at prioritising your life, prioritising everything that you have over this next few days. Join us tonight if you can for Together at Home. Find out from Louise everything that's going on the online world here at Drew. And we really, really look forward to seeing you soon. So see you tomorrow, 10 o'clock. See you tonight at Louise's gathering, and we'll see you online very soon as well. Thank you, everybody. Love you. Bye.